And New Year has come, Larry. How are you doing? Happy New Year, my friend.
Yeah, I'm having a better New Year than, say, people in Gaza,
People in California.
people in California, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, not a good start. And since we are talking about this, the year ended also a little turbulent in the United States. 2 or 3 different terror attacks, right?
No, I don't think so. Ended or started?
The Tesla car was on the end of the year, right?
No, it's January 1st.
Oh, January 1st. Okay.
So the attack in New Orleans took place on January 1st, and the Matt Leibelsberger setting himself on fire in front of the Trump Hotel was on 11 o'clock in the morning in Las Vegas on the 1st of January.
So. Yeah. I didn't cover that yet, but I got some videos on your Telegram channel and very interesting perspectives, very conspirationist thinkings that I can put on that.
Well, yeah, the whole Leibelsberger incident, it's now confirmed that he was in the car. He was the one that died in the fire. The thing that still doesn't make sense is that the coroner is insisting that he shot himself with a 50 caliber Desert Eagle, which means, one-handed, or maybe you got to go 2 hands. But the explosion that starts the fire in the car, immediately you can see in like the second or third frame, the flame fills the cabin, and he's silhouetted, and you don't see a gun. And in fact, if he had shot himself in the head or, eaten the gun, his head would have been, half gone.
And the gun would have fly away. Yeah.
Well, the gun dropped. They did find the gun between his legs on the floor of the car. Mm-hmm. So that, that's expected, but it's just, the shot's not visible at all. And the damage that should have been done to the head is not visible. So...
Yeah. One thing that called my attention that I thought about is that so a friend of mine have bought a BMW, a brand new BMW some months ago, and these cars have a lot of things inside, including a 360 camera from the inside of the car. Mm-hmm. That's a Tesla truck that should have maximum optionals inside.
Yeah.
And since it's a rental, it's not I would argue even the personal one, but the rental one for sure would have some backup of images from inside the car.
Look, he was an 18-year veteran of special forces. He had training in intelligence, counterintelligence, surveillance, and the fact that he would select a Tesla, which is easy to trace and follow, and then all the time supposedly sending an email which talked about him being followed, being under surveillance. But what does he do? He uses a phone and uses a car that makes him easy subjects to track and identify. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like he wanted to get caught. He was, there are some reports that he had suffered both traumatic brain injury and was suffering post-traumatic stress syndrome. We don't know. The device that was constructed, the explosives and fire and fuel, he was very competent at building explosives. He'd been through that training. This was, a joke. I mean, a deadly joke, but nonetheless a joke. And it really stands in contrast to the device. The 2 devices reportedly placed by the Jabbar character in New Orleans, who had 0 experience being trained with explosives. 0. He was an admin guy. Mm-hmm. And yet here he builds 2 fairly sophisticated remote control detonated devices. So, maybe these 2 incidents were just a coincidence. Maybe they're coordinated. There was lots of, conspiracy stuff in the email that Leivelsberger sent to this fellow named Shoemate. And, again, some of the things that stated in the email didn't turn out to be true. So it's just, it's a very...
Like his first car or something like that, right?
Well, yeah,
some
he said
details.
First, Mustang, but then he also said he's going to Mexico. He didn't go to Mexico. Pretty simple. He also mangled some of the terminology for describing U.S. forces in Afghanistan. I didn't use a really proper, what I call proper military acronym jargon, which raises questions. Did he actually write that email, or was that written by somebody else? So we just don't know.
Yeah. Weird stuff going on. And then it started, since you mentioned, let's bring it up, the fires on California.
Yeah.
And that's being, fires in California are not a hard thing to happen. Almost every year.
But look, the satellite imagery of it indicates 3 of those fires are started simultaneously. Who started them?
There was also some images, I guess, from people with, gasoline, whatever, putting fire on stuff. That I saw on the social media. I'm not saying that is official, but
this is an example of what you could do if you really wanted to disrupt a country. Carry out this kind of this has caused the amount of damage to Los Angeles and to those neighborhoods. Because now where are they going to live? And if again, these people lost everything. If you had a job as a lawyer and you wore a suit to work every day and had 3 suits in your closet, they're gone. So on the one hand, they're going to have to go out and spend money to buy new clothes, but then where are you going to hang them?
I saw today something that it looks like the insurance to cover up all the damage, because it was a very rich neighborhood, right, in the region.
The Palisades.
The Palisades, exactly. The insurance to cover the damage was going as high as almost $500 billion.
Yeah, it could be that high, but a number of the insurance companies canceled policies, so they don't have an exposure. So we'll see. It is, we'll see what disaster awaits us this week. We've had almost a disaster a week.
Exactly, and since we're talking about a week, 6 days to go, Larry. Are you taking anti-anxiolytics or something I mentioned?
No, Trump has certainly shaken up the political world in Washington. His nominees are testifying today on the Hill. The star witness today is Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. I think Hegseth is a terrible choice.
Mm-hmm.
He lacks the management experience. He lacks the experience in commanding large organizations. Lloyd Austin, with all of his faults and flaws, at least could claim, hey, I was a senior commander and commanded thousands. Hegseth has been lucky to command hundreds, 200. And so it presents an image. He does not. He's actually reversed himself. Before he spoke honestly about women shouldn't be in combat. They shouldn't. Instead of him coming up and defending that, oh yeah, no, I believe women, and it's like, just surrender your backbone. You got to be, if that's what you believe, state what you believe and stick to it. Don't go up and say, "Oh, now, yeah, I'm so desperate to get appointed, I will say that I oppose what I once said I supported." No, women shouldn't be in combat. Let's be honest about it. You get a good-looking woman and a group of guys are thinking about fucking her. Okay, I mean, it's just, this is what happens on these ships in the Navy. The number of unwanted pregnancies that take place. It's called biology. You get young guys, young women at the height
full of testosterones and
and then you're surprised that they're having sex, and it is when the purpose of a combat unit is to engage in combat, not to be a dating club. But you can't say he backed off of that. I think that's sort of, it's disappointing. It makes him look weak. He just said, yeah, no, I said those things. I stand by those things. That doesn't mean women shouldn't serve in the military. But, it's saying that we have some standards for our country that I don't want them out on the front lines engaged in hand-to-hand combat. Because, most women aren't strong enough to do it. There are a few. There's an exception here and there, but we don't make rules for the exception. That's why we call it a uniform. Everybody adheres to it.
Exactly. That's what's called rule, and the exception is called exception. I mean, of course, there are jobs that women can do. Like I don't know, being a nurse, helping logistics here and there, but combat, better not. I would say.
No, I mean just something as simple as carrying, the weight of an ammo box can be upwards of 40 pounds. Having to lift that and put it up. Most women don't have the upper body strength to handle it. It's just a fact of nature.
Fact of nature. A lot of these people are not used to that anymore, I guess. I don't know what happened to people. And then we that pointed that we are negationists or whatever it's called.
Well, to deny biology and try to create a transgender world is just silly. I got two Rottweilers, one male, one female. I take the male out for a walk. He's got to stop every 10 feet and piss on something. He's marking territory. I take the female out. She doesn't. She doesn't go around marking territory at all. She just calmly walks, and away we go. Much more congenial walker than the boy. But I mean, it's they are different because biologically they are different. And instead of accepting those differences, we try to pretend that they don't exist, which is just silly.
Yeah, that's just stupid. So we have 6 days to go. We have Ukraine. We have Israel still haven't win anything, as it looks like to me. I mean, people may say, they destroyed Gaza. Have you seen Gaza? Yeah, they won it. But every day on Twitter, the Israel profile just posts something like, there's been 400 and that many days that those people are still hostages. So they haven't won. They haven't released their hostages. They haven't beaten Hezbollah.
But it looks like there is a ceasefire deal that will probably be in place before Trump goes into office. And you've got both Trump's Middle East envoy, Stephen Witkoff, meeting with the Palestinians and the Israelis alongside Biden's people. That's very unusual. And I think both really the IDF leadership, as well as Hamas, I think they want to stop the violence for a while. Yes, the Palestinians have suffered terribly. They've taken the biggest hits, but Israel's been taking some blows too. They've had 9 guys killed in the last 3 days.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
And that's what comes out. That's what we know. Officially know. That's
what they officially admit to. It could be higher, plus the number of wounded, and the number that have served and are out and are suffering mental disorders. A significant number. So it's this has not been a good thing for Israel. And 14 months in, 15 months in, they've been unable to contain Hamas. They've inflicted an enormous amount of damage and suffering on the Palestinian people, but they haven't won.
Yeah, and about that, just to mention, Larry has read the poem "Dead Children," and we put up a video, and I'll put the link on of sonar21.com of the video, because I cannot post it on YouTube. But I'll put the link, so people go there, try to share as much as you can, so people can have a little bit of sensibility of what's going there, of what's going on there. Please do that, everybody. Yeah, so then again, 6 days to go, Larry, and Ukraine. So the Trump decided to send an envoy also to discuss the situation, to go to Moscow.
Well, no, he didn't.
No. But the envoy was supposed to go. Kellogg was supposed to go to Moscow, no?
He canceled. So I mean,
Kellogg cornflakes.
Yeah. No, they're now at the point where they're going to have a phone call. I don't know if it'll be this week or immediately after that. Trump's the load on Trump's plate for the first 24 hours is just incredible. You're going to be issuing pardons to the January 6th protesters, authorizing deportations, mass deportations of illegal aliens that have engaged in criminal activity. It is opening up energy exploration, trying to overturn a whole host of Biden executive orders. So I mean, it's going to be quite busy. He's not going to be out partying.
Yeah. Drill. That's the policy that has been pushing for years, since ever, right? So, of course, there has been the talks that he wants to end the conflicts in the first 100 days of, Ukraine's conflict, Russia-Ukraine, and he wants it to be done, Ukraine to be done, not the conflict, Ukraine to be done in the first 100 days. How possible do you think this is? Because in the beginning, he was talking about, I'll end it in 48 hours, and then, 100 days. But it looks like 100 days is not even
Russia's going to call the shots. The only way that Trump can end it is, it's real simple. He says to Ukraine, I'm cutting off aid effective today. You're getting nothing else. I'm withdrawing U.S. military and intelligence personnel. If he did that, the war would end. Ukraine would be compelled to surrender. If he doesn't do that, the war is going to go on until Russia secures what Russia wants. And what Russia wants, the United States at this point is not willing to give. So the war will continue until Ukraine is defeated and NATO is defeated. Very simple.
Very. It has been simple for 2 years. We've been talking about that for, the channel has 1.5 years, so we've been talking about that for 1.5 years.
Yeah.
Me and you here. One thing that we've been talking here as well, but I was more focused on Latin America. But it seems to me that the Trump people, the people behind Trump, I don't like to, impersonate this to one single person, Trump. So the people behind Trump has come to the sane conclusion that the world is too big for the United States only, and they need to go back to spheres of influence. And we see Trump talking, for example, about, Russia has the right to have their own concerns, and we have to understand and try to respect that. And then he talks about, making Canada the 51st state, and then buying Greenland, and then taking back the Panama Canal. How do you see all these talks about Trump? Is he really going in this direction of, I'm not going to say diminish America, but making America great again by diminishing the influence outside America and focusing on, inside and his own terrain, let's say.
I don't think if he pursued taking Panama, Canada, and Greenland, that'd be diminishing. If anything, it'd be setting a larger footprint internationally. So Canada, he's just trolling the Canadians. The problem, how do you bring Canada in? Is Canada itself is a 51st state. Canada is a big, diverse country, and the Quebecois in Quebec have a completely different point of view than the people in all the Asians in Vancouver and all the English folks in Newfoundland. So it's just going to be a mess, and the odds are it would vote in favor of many of the liberal Democrat policies. Why would Trump want to dilute Republican influence in the Senate? So that that's not going to happen. Panama is all about sending a message to China because the Chinese control. They've been managing the ports there for like 25 years. I don't understand why Trump is all of a sudden making it an issue, because it wasn't an issue when he was president 4 years ago, and the Chinese were there just as active, just as prevalent. And Panama has not been charging a different rate for U.S. ships to transit the canal. So this is all about, I think, trying to set up a negotiating position vis-a-vis China. Greenland, okay. Maybe we can put some bases on there to try to start mining operations. I think the most likely outcome is Greenland will declare itself independent and cut a deal with the United States. But as far as the United States using,
or even not even going independent, but Denmark cutting a deal with the United States and just keep things as it is, but giving more influence to the United States.
If they, this has a potential to be very, very disruptive of NATO. So we may want to take that into account. But, the notion that the U.S. is going to use Greenland as a springboard to the Arctic. Right now, the United States has one icebreaker ship. The Russians have 60, or is it 7? They have 70. And of those 77 of them are nuclear powered. The United States isn't even in the game. We don't have any ability really to set sail into the Arctic seas and deploy teams via ship, which is how it's got to be done. So this is more fanciful, delusional thought on Trump's part.
Oh, sorry. So, but that comes to you made a point there that I hadn't thought about the China message, because yesterday I talked, not yesterday, Sunday I talked about this, and that looked a lot to me. I remember when I made a video about BRICS on 2023. Where BRICS brought, Egypt and was trying to bring Argentina, and that looked a lot as, trade routes, maritime trade routes. This looks a lot like maritime trade routes as well. Till yesterday, that I saw a video from Andrei Martyanov, where he puts a picture, from the polar cap from above, and then you have Greenland and Canada taking together almost not the same, but a big chunk of the area. And of course, that area is also a maritime trading route that could be a problem for China and for Russia. Since the United States itself has a small chunk of that.
But how could it be a problem for China and Russia?
I don't know.
Because I'm saying it's not a problem for China and Russia. They've got the ships that can sail there. the problems for the United States and Canada. They don't have the ships.
But they can disrupt.
Well, you can sit there and say, "Oh, we're going to control this area." How? How? You put any ships there? No. I mean, they don't have them to put. And it's not like they're building one a year. They're not even close. So, I mean, yeah, this is delusional stuff. Yeah, we're going to be involved up there. Okay, great. That's like I said, we're going to outer space. You got a rocket? Well, no. You got trained astronauts? Well, no. What are you doing? I mean,
can you at least bring back the astronauts that are on the outer space waiting?
I mean, case in point, we can't even retrieve stranded astronauts. So it is, this is a case of our mouth writing checks that our bank account cannot cash.
So I want this to be a short episode, but I really just want to understand. So far we have discussed, so the Trump government choices are not excellent. They have no idea what to do in Ukraine. They have no idea what to do in the Middle East. They have no idea what to do on the polar caps. Do they have any idea?
Well, yeah, actually, I think Trump, has actually got some ideas about what he wants to do. So let's take Ukraine. We saw Mike Waltz over the weekend going on the TV talk shows on Sunday and insisting that Ukraine is now going to have to lower its draft age to 18 and to start bringing them into the military. Well, I look at Waltz and recognize he's not a dummy. He was a colonel, lieutenant colonel, at least now in the Army Reserve, Special Forces. He knows what it takes to train soldiers and to make them ready where they could go be marginally competent to go into combat. So even if Ukraine starts tomorrow with recruitment at age 18, if you're going to turn out troops that are trained and qualified to operate in a combat environment, you need at least 12 months. There's no way to accelerate that. Or if you cut corners and put people out before that, you're just going to increase their chance of them being killed or them killing somebody on their own side. So when I hear Walt say that, I think he's actually creating a negotiating position to corral Zelensky. Because if he's forcing Zelensky to make a choice that Zelensky does not want to make because it's highly, highly unpopular in Ukraine, and it will erode his political support. On the other hand, if he doesn't do it, then Trump and company say, see, the Ukrainians want us to shed all of our money, but they're not willing to do what it takes to defend themselves. We're going to walk away. So I think that's really what's afoot here.
Okay, but inside the United States, do you see any perspectives of things being, since we're talking about Ukraine and the fires on California, a lot of money was sent to Ukraine. I saw that a lot of equipment was sent to Ukraine. And even these days, I saw that Ukraine was willing to send people to help California.
That's what they're saying. They're not doing that. They don't have people to send. That's crazy.
But they were talking about 150 people. I was thinking, okay, probably they are getting, some of these people that need to get out of the country, otherwise they will be executed when the war ends, and just sent to California. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just dealing with political theater right now. That's all. So the only possible disruption between now and next Monday, when Trump is installed, is that if Israel decides to attack Iran. I don't think they will. I think they're getting a lot of pressure from Trump on reaching a deal on the hostage release. And they're not, once that hostage release takes place, I think it's actually it's going to make it more unlikely that Israel will attack Iran again and risk a broader war, because in 3 days, on the 17th, President Pezeshkian of Iran will be signing a security defense agreement with Russia. And so if Israel or the United States contemplates attacking Iran, they're going to have to take into account that Iran and Russia have this agreement.
Yeah, there's no time to do that. I hope so.
Yeah.
That some sanity prevails at this moment.
We'll see.
We'll see. LarryJohnson, my good friend, wish you a happy 25.
Yes,
Let's
thank you.
For more sanity this year.
Yeah, that's we can always hope. We'll see.
And that's the maximum we can do. And have some conversations to allow people to hope with us.
Hey, and thanks for putting that video together. You did great work on it.
Oh, thank you. It was, I hope it reaches more people.
Yeah.
Let's share it, everybody that watches us on the Press of Mass Destruction. Share the video. I'll put the link on the description. Everybody that watch this show on Larry's, BitChute, Rumble, just share as much as you can. Okay, I'll put the links on the description. All the links for Larry's countercurrents, Ania, when he goes to Ania, to Nima, everybody. Links are on the description where you can find more Larry, including sonar21.com. LarryJohnson, thank you very much, my good friend. See you. Hey,
Marcelo,
time.
Thank you, and Happy New Year, my friend.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye.